I enjoyed the Resident Evil 4 remake. I thought that it was a solid game that captured the essence of the original pretty well, but what I'm about to talk about is a prime example showing why I don't trust companies, even if they put out half-decent products, because weeks after launch, they decided to add microtransactions to this game, and people are really, really pissed at Capcom. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So I wanted to start off with this Forbes article. Resident Evil 4 Remake, 4 million sales, free Mercenaries DLC live, and weird microtransactions. Now, it is great to hear that it's sold 4 million copies so far. That sounds like a pretty freaking good sales number for them, and they seem really proud of it. But unfortunately, that news dropped at the same time as these microtransaction announcements, and the 4 million sales has been completely overshadowed. Alright, there's a ton of Resident Evil 4 news out today, so I figured I'd just combine it in one post. Of course, like I mentioned, it has already sold 4 million copies in just 2 weeks, which of course is fantastic. That brings the grand total of Resident Evil series sales up to 135 million sales since 1996. Now, I personally love the Resident Evil series. It is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and that is why I have played these remakes, but they've all had criticisms levied towards them. I really did not find myself impressed with the Resident Evil 3 remake. It was very short, and of course the original game was on the shorter side as well, but I felt like they really could have enhanced the experience, and they really didn't. And then the Resident Evil 4 remake is pretty solid all around. I enjoyed it. I didn't have any big problems with it. There were some changes that I thought were kind of odd, like, knife durability. I thought was kind of bizarre. Of course, I was not a fan of the censorship, and I have talked about that many times. But now, we're hearing really bad news with these microtransactions that I'm about to mention. Heading on over to this Video Games Chronicle article, Resident Evil 4 Remake has added microtransactions to make upgrade weapons quicker. The free Mercenaries mode DLC is added to the game, but it's also been accompanied by 11 new pieces of paid DLC called exclusive upgrade tickets, each letting players speed up the upgrade process. To gun enthusiasts, knife collectors, and lovers of weapons of any kind and all kinds, here's your ticket to the gun show, specifically a ticket to be redeemed at the merchant shop. With this, you'll have access to a weapon's exclusive upgrade at any time, regardless of the weapon's level. Not only that, but once unlocked, the upgrade itself is free of charge. Now, each upgrade ticket costs $2.99, and there are also a number of multi-packs letting you buy 3 or 5 at a time at a discount, and in total, if players were to buy everything, they would get 23 upgrade tickets at a total cost of $55.89, which is in the realm of the base game itself. Now, of course, yes, you can complete this title without purchasing these. I mean, I did, and many other people have as well, so they're not disgustingly pay to win. They are, of course, optional, but they're still just more microtransactions to be shoved in your face while you're trying to enjoy a game. They were already pushing it with a $70 remake of a title that didn't even need one, but this just shows that companies will try to milk any kind of money they can out of us, and this is Capcom's way. But the big issue that I have with this is how scummy of a move this was, to add things like this weeks after launch. Many people won't support games with microtransactions, period, out of fear that it will ruin the experience, so adding them weeks after only really makes people feel less confident in your future launches, because they were willing to add cash grabs once, so why not again? They gave us absolutely no notice that these would be added. And not only that, this has really, really infuriated people, and rightfully so, it should. There are a bunch of tweets on this already, and in the comments, people are being very, very harsh about the situation. How to get better scores: 1. No microtransactions at launch. 2. Microtransaction update just after launch. 3. Profit. And this is exactly what they did. I mean, this game has great scores across the board for critics, but unfortunately, users have felt very different about this game. A lot of people have left very negative reviews on, Metacritic, just saying that it doesn't deserve, a 9 out of 10 rating like the critics are saying. And honestly, I feel like with this happening, the scores are going to drop even more. Just again, it was very scummy of them to do this. They got the good reviews at launch, people were praising the game, and then they added microtransactions afterwards, so those initial reviews don't mention them. That's just a really, really bad move. Imagine dismantling one of your core game mechanics for money. Whether it's optional or not is irrelevant. The point is they designed this mechanic of you obtaining money in game to upgrade your weapons, and then gave you a shortcut to skip the frickin' thing, which of course is true. I mean, ultimately, if they can make money off of it, that's all they really care about. They don't care if you have a good experience. They don't really care if you play the game the way that it's intended. They saw, a chance to make a few extra bucks, and well, they took it. This shouldn't even be here, even if it is optional. People defending it or using it are the problem. And of course, it's a Resident Evil game. There are going to be people who are always going to defend anything really that happens with the franchise. But yeah, I personally don't see the need to add it as an option. But even so, they should have told us, oh hey, just so you guys know, in a few weeks we are going to be adding a couple of microtransactions that are completely optional. They just should have been transparent with their consumers, and they won't, and that's why people feel so backhanded by this move. Even if the microtransactions aren't intrusive, still adding these later after the positive reviews are in just feels so icky, which of course it definitely does. But yeah, as you can see, there have been some very weird, as the article described, microtransactions added to Resident Evil 4 a couple of weeks after launch, and players are not happy and are calling Capcom out on this really scummy move. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.